Hey guys, welcome back. Today's video might seem a little jumbled or out of order, and the reason for that is simple. I didn't realize my computer had timed out while I was recording, so I missed a bunch of cutscene footage that can't be replicated without restoring an old save state, and I really didn't want to redo it all. So I missed the entire journey up to Zora's domain and all of the side-on cutscenes where he encourages you down the path riddled with enemies wielding electric weapons and arrows. I actually managed to make the entire trip without a single death and a handful of cool kills, but alas, you'll have to take my word for that. So this vid is obtaining the entire Zora armor set, traversing Vah Ruta, and banging out Waterblight Ganon. Either way, let's get into it. We're gonna start in the Ni-Ez Yoma Shrine, which is the one directly inside Zora's domain, in between the inn and the store. This one is called Pushing Power and can take a little figuring out on your first playthrough. You have to position your 3 Cryonis blocks pretty precisely and race down the slant ahead of the orb to try and stasis it at just the right moment, so we can smack it a few times and change the trajectory to send the orb into the receptacle. You want the opening you leave to be pretty much the exact width of the orb so it gets slowed down but can still get through. Now we have to avoid the balls, or at least most of them, and go all the way up to the top so we can push and guide the orb where we want it to go. From here, we can create a horizontal ice block to push the orb off its platform. Now, when we create this block and it pushes the orb up onto this ramp, we need to get down to the bottom as quickly as possible so we get there in time to stasis the orb. Fastest way to do that is to paraglide over the laser. Then get in behind the first ice block you placed and hit the stasis rune before lining yourself up to stop the orb at just the right moment. You want to get it right when it rolls onto the flat ground off the slant. Then you just need to whack it straight twice so it'll roll gently into the receptacle when the stasis is released. I find the easiest way to achieve a straight on whack is to use a spear. 2 spear whacks does it, and that's the shrine. Once we go back outside, we can make our way up the stairs to the throne room and speak to King Dorephan. King Dorephan is one of my favorite characters in the Zelda franchise, maybe barring only Linebeck. I don't know, I like the way he tries to set Sidon up for success while also teaching him important lessons and instilling the mindset of a fair ruler. Plus, in creating a champion, there are some really awesome early character sketches, and in the Zora chapter of the book is this super funny little drawing of King Dorephan's little Hank Hill butt. Oh my god, look how funny it is. Anyways, the king will give us the chestplate of the Zora armor, which Princess Mipha had sewn herself. Supposedly she sewed it for her true love, and it's supposed to fit him perfectly, so the king's advisor, Muzu, throws a fit, because no way the esteemed Zora princess was in love with this Hylian nobody. Y'all can see where this is going, right? When we're done talking to the king, we get to head back down to the town's massive Mipha statue and prove to Muzu that the armor was indeed made for us by simply putting it on and showing Muzu that it fits like a glove. He does eventually clamp down on his sour attitude and accept that we're here to help. After Muzu concedes, we can go up to the middle level to find the Flat, who will give us the side quest that will reward us with the Zora Greaves. The Lynel Safari side quest can be completed while we work on the main story. We need to go up to the Lynel to sneak around and steal a bunch of his shock arrows, so we can just grab a quick picture of him while we're up there. Not only that, we can basically just pick up the Zora helm on our way up to Polymus Mountain. It's just sunk in Toto Lake for whatever reason. We can glide from the top of Zora's domain to the waterfall to the north. Just take this one all the way up and do the same at the next waterfall. Once you pop out of the top of the second waterfall, if you just keep walking straight, you'll hit Toto Lake. The helm is sunk at the back, behind a chunk of ruins, so you can't see it from the shore, but it's right there. Every piece of the Zora armor increases your swim speed, so I really do like to have the full set before taking on Water Blight, since there's a good amount of swimming in that fight, and I have base stamina still. It really doesn't matter how good you sneak here, you'll trigger the Lynel cutscene either way. I'd love to say that I'm good enough at this game to actually fight this first lynel successfully, but I am not. I'm not even gonna try. I won't win. I remember my very first playthrough trying and failing to fight this lynel. Over and over. So many game overs. I called up my friend who was the resident Zelda expert at the time and asked him what the trick was. You know how every Zelda boss has a weak spot or some easy way to inflict damage? I assumed that there was a trick to the lynel and I just hadn't figured it out yet. I distinctly remember him laughing at me and telling me the trick was to get good, dumbass, and there was no fighting him with base stats. Every swing is a one hit. So yeah, I'm gonna do my best little sneak around to grab the shock arrows I need, snap a quick pic of this guy, and warp back to Zora's domain to claim my fancy new swimming pants. We just have to go talk to LaFlat and she'll hand them over swiftly and we can continue to East Reservoir Lake to start up the Divine Beast boarding process with Sidon. The game seriously expects you to do this Divine Beast first, so this little section where we have to ride on Sidon's back and jump up the waterfalls isn't that hard at all. Just use Cryonis to break any ice blocks coming at us, and use the A button to jump up the waterfalls when you're close enough. Once we're in the air, we can pull out our bow and activate bullet time to try and hit some of the pink orbs with the shock arrows we collected earlier.
Let's find an opening.
Getting closer.
Here we go.
That's it. Hold on. What's that ice? Get those shockers.
Go.
You must break that ice. Here you go.
It took me a minute to realize that for whatever reason, Sidon kept taking me back to the wrong side of the divine beast. So I had to go over his back and make my way around without him. I got it eventually. Okay, so this first puzzle, not even a puzzle. Turn the crank to raise the terminal. That's it.
There are 4 terminals remaining. Don't give up.
We'll go out and up for this next one. This one? Also barely a puzzle. Freeze the water source to stop the gear from turning. Boom, second terminal done.
There are 3 terminals remaining. You...
Now, I did this third one wrong. Like, really wrong. I'm not 100% sure what the intended solution is here, but I just stood on the spikes and took the health damage until the terminal activated and I could turn it on.
There are 2 terminals remaining.
We have to go up and across for this one, so we have to use the gear on the second floor to lift us up. Use the Divine Beast controls to change the position of the trunk and water spray so the gear turns in the other direction and we can hitch a ride. This one requires some good timing, but it isn't too hard. Lower the trunk so you can paraglide onto the very end of it. Then lift the trunk all the way and sidle your way to the back of it while it's moving to activate the 4th terminal.
Just 1 terminal remaining. I have faith in you.
The last terminal is the most complex one in my opinion. Glide from the raised trunk to the previously inaccessible part of the 3rd floor, look for these flames, and head towards them. We have to turn another crank to open up the roof panel, and then carefully position the trunk so the water is directly on top of the flames, extinguishing them and allowing you to access the last terminal.
You activated all the terminals. There should be a new glowing mark. Be careful not to...
And there we go. Let's head back down to the main control unit and get this boss fight started.
Careful, that spear has a long reach.
Waterblade is also just a super easy boss in my opinion. Shoot him out of the air a few times and smack him around with your weapon when you can reach him. Shoot him with arrows when you can't. Pretty simple. As long as you watch out for his spear, he projects his moves pretty heavily before he swings or throws, so you can just keep yourself out of its reach as much as possible. In this phase, he occasionally flings ice blocks and also sometimes shoots a laser beam, Oh, and don't forget that he raised the water level, so we have to swim from platform to platform to use our weapons or runes. But it's the same concept. Shoot him out of the air and smack him when you can reach him.
Now's your chance. Defend yourself against those ice blocks.
Ah, crap. I buggered the parry slightly. At least it didn't hit me.
Go, now!
Couple more smacks, and he's done. And that's it for the entirety of Zora's domain for now. I'm sorry that I missed what I consider to be the best part of this part of the main storyline, which is Sidon leading you along the river. Vah Ruta is probably my favorite of the 4 divine beasts aesthetically. His animations and cutscenes are easily the best out of the 4 in my opinion. I'm glad I finally got to cut in a picture out of the Creating a Champion book, because I've honestly been thinking about how much I couldn't wait to show off that pic of the king's cheeks ever since I started this series. I'll probably do a little level grinding before I head northwest up to Rito Village and Vah Meadow to make the trek a little bit easier. We'll save all the grinding for its own video though, since it has its own purpose. Thanks for coming along with me. Hope to see you next time.